Hey guys, Barrett here today. In today's lesson, we're going to continue talking about hand patterns. You guys were really into the first hand pattern lesson, so I thought about it, and there's so many more hand patterns I didn't even explain in that episode. And so let's get into it. So we have a 16th note hand pattern that's used a lot that goes right, left, group of 4, and then snare, left, left. So that's two groups of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Another way to think about groups of 4 is called 16th notes. That's why we can also count this 1E and 2E and so on. 3E and 4E and if we have 4 beats in our measure, right? So the foundational way to play this is you put bass drum on 1 with the hi-hat. 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and that's a hand pattern because we can take that idea and move around the bass eventually. But it takes time, you know. You got to get real comfortable with this first. And then over time, the more comfortable you get with it, which I'm a lefty, so I do it lefty. The more comfortable you get with it, the more you can start adding different snares and basses. You can do the same thing one-handed. 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and add different bass drum patterns. Start on 1 first, then move it around. Now, none of this stuff is going to happen in one day, but you just got to kind of work on each one of these sort of sub-stylistic approaches to drumming one at a time. Another cool hand pattern is go back and forth between the hands and make the snares ghosts. And come down and accent the snare. 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and 1. Once again, I'm lefty, so I would do this lefty. Bass drum on 1. You get the picture. Move it around. This is a really good approach because once you're learning different styles and different playing approaches, but you're also learning that drumming is really about taking a core concept and then varying that core concept. That's really what drumming is all about. So those are some of the different 16th note approaches to the hi-hat. There's others, though, and one of them is where you play the hi-hat on just the ands. They're called ands. So if we're thinking about 8th notes, 1 and 2 and, this is that boots and cats and boots and cats and, this is that beat. Bass, hat, snare, hat, bass, hat, snare, hat, bass, hat, snare, hat. And that seems easy, and you get that down, and then you can move the bass drum around. It's a little tricky because you got to keep that and going while you do different stuff. And. So yeah, that's a fun one. You could do the same thing, but with an accent pattern. So you're keeping the 8ths like normal, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, but you accent the and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So you have the whole hi-hat hand pattern there as normal, but you're emphasizing the and. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. This gives it a little bit more body, but you're still emphasizing the and, so you're still pointing the ear towards the and. You can do both of those with open hats, so you can do just the and with the open. All of these are sub-stylistic approaches, right? Little styles within a style, basically. Same thing, always put your bass drum on 1 first, or 1 and 3, whatever. Stable, right? And then sort of get more syncopated with it, add more bass drum patterns. But it's going to take a while before the muscle memory hits on all these different patterns, right? And right there, we're adding, that's technically 4-way independence because we're adding this foot into the mix when you start doing the opens. You can also do the opens with the regular 8th note. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, while accenting the and. I mean, and opening on the ands. Start out with just bass drum on 1 and 3, and then move it around. Here's another really cool one since we're talking about open hi-hats. I call this one open hi-hat 3s, where you play 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, where you open on the third one and you get the rhythm 1 knee and 2 beat and, which is a really common sort of hand pattern ostinato type thing. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Same thing. Keep that going. Bass on 1 first. Then move the bass around. You'll hear this in like Tool, right? The way that beat works is he has this hand pattern ostinato type thing happening. 1 knee and 2 and 3 and 3 and 1 knee and 2 and 3 and 1, and he's going 1 E. So those were just some really essential hand patterns I knew I had to add, and that's why I had to make a part 2 to that hand pattern video. Keep in mind, all of these styles take time. I mean, I've been playing for a long time, 20 plus years, and that's the only reason why I know so many different stylistic approaches and my hands are so comfortable with all of them, because I've been doing it a long time, you know? But you just got to take your time with each one of those approaches. Each one of those approaches. If you do this, you'll become a much more versatile drummer, though. You'll find a lot of these different stylistic approaches in my book. Check it out, link in the bio. Also, I offer online lessons. So if any of you guys want to schedule an online lesson with me, I'd be happy to get you in the schedule. So just let me know, all right? Thanks for hanging out. I'm Barrett, and I'll see you guys on the next one.